Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's Jason Pizzino on the Crypto Byte channel. If you haven't already, remember to hit the subscribe button down below and the little bell as well that you can see there on the screen. Gives you notifications for the updates throughout the day, because we have been going for a day and a half now. We've got 5 videos up there, so there should be another couple coming in the next few hours. Yeah, lots of stuff to go through there. So if you haven't already, hit the subscribe and let's get on with this video. I'm going to go through, first up, a little bit of technical analysis on Bitcoin and LiteCoin, and then I'll jump across to another couple of projects just with a little bit of information that I have picked up recently and previously. So yeah, I'll get to that in a sec. So let's jump straight across over to Coinergy. This is where I do my charting for any of the coins that I'm holding or stuff that I'm looking at. So this is my Bitcoin chart. I will get rid of all the indicators and I'll start to add them on again as we go through. So this is the daily chart on Bitcoin. I like to use trend lines and Fibonacci retracements plus time counts. Now, I don't see a lot of people using time counts, mostly because I don't think people put value in time. I look at it like a 3D sort of chart. You've got price, low to high. You've got time across, so left to right. And then you've got volume, which adds the 3D aspect in my view. So the volume gives you the driver, you know, where is the strength coming from? It doesn't always equal, you know, like there's nothing that's 100% in technical analysis, in trading, in investing, anything like that. But these are some of the keys that I like to look at that give me the most value. So I'll just leave this one on there. I know I said I'll clear them all, but I'll leave this one. Now this is the low to high. You can see here $162 up to 19,891. And then, so I use a 50%, and then also the common ones you see with Fibonacci and Elliott wave guys are the 38 and the 61%. So, you know, 61.8, 38.2s. I like to go with the 50. It's a nice balancing point. You always hear people talk about, you know, we're halved, our value has halved, or we've doubled. So that's why that 50% is very important. It generally comes up on psychological numbers. As you can see right here, this is the major range. $162 was the low that we had back in 2015, way back here. But that is the major low after the previous crash of 2013-14. That's why that is an important point to use when you are measuring your fib lines. Now we've got the top. We can confirm that top has come in 19,891. I'm using Bitfinex BTC versus USD because it has very high volume. It's highly traded. Lots of people are on that, so we can get quite good data from the Bitfinex chart. So using those two numbers, the 50% point there is 10,026. Call it 10,000. You know, there is some give and take. 10,000. Now we can see that was a support level. We could see as this market was falling, the first point it hit was 10,700. Then we could see it come and test the 50% again. It broke through it at 92.31, but it closed above it. Then it tried it again, and then on the fourth attempt, it broke right through it, and that's where we got our low of 6,000. So what we tend to see in markets is support becoming resistance. Now we're approaching that 10,000 level pretty rapidly in the last 24 hours. We're at 9,400 at the moment. So I would expect to see some resistance from this level, you know, some pullback, and just letting the market decide what it wants to do. I would possibly think we would go 6,000 to 10,000-ish, then retrace 50% again, so that's around the 8,000 level, and then at that point, Bitcoin will decide whether it is still in a bear or in a short-term bull market, which it may test the 10,000 again and move on. And I know these are all just numbers being thrown out there, but for trading, for investing, this is how I like to rate the market. I will do a video in the future that talks about predictions and why I think they're absolute load of garbage. You know, 2018 predictions, those sorts of stuff. They are excellent for clickbait titles, and I think it's good to use them to talk with you guys, you know, to bring you into the space and discuss them a bit further. But I don't see them having value because there are no bearings for the prediction. You can't just say something's going to be a particular number in a period. It doesn't have any bearing. You know, this low that we had at $162 back in 2015 is a low we had in 2015. It's not like you could say, oh, in 2015 I expected the price to be $160. It just doesn't make any sense in my view, and any trader that's been trading for a while will tell you the same thing. Market has cycles, and you're best to work with those cycles. Those cycles start and finish at different points of time in the year, and they generally go on time frames, like time ranges. You might see 180 days up, 180 days down. 180 days is good because it's 6 months. 90 days, it's a quarter. You know, businesses work like this. That's why they are important time frames. Let's use one just as an example here. So we've got the top at 19,000, call it 20,000. Let's see where this bottom's come in. We are at 6,000. We've got a 70% drop in 51 days. Now, it's not exactly 2 months. We may see further downside. It may even just drop a little bit into our 2 month period. But 2 months is also a round number. You know, what happens every 2 months? You know, we've got 6 lots of 2 months in a year. Let's see where this low came up. Now I'm just picking random stuff here. 35 days, there's a month. Like we know, nothing is 100% precise, but they are just good areas to look at for turns. Now, I've talked about that for quite some time. If you like, I'll go into more detail on how I like to do technical analysis in future videos, but already there you can start to see that there are some really easy ways to use price support and resistance, and also time support and resistance. You're doing the same thing you do with price as you do in time. 30 days here, 60 days there, 1 month, 2 months. Like, it's all these sort of numbers that people like to talk about. Whether they're doing it consciously or subconsciously, whatever it is, it happens. So we're moving up. That's where I'm looking for another pullback for Bitcoin, at least maybe a temporary pause. On the other hand, if this thing blows through the 50%, that's a very strong sign of, strong sign of strength. A sign of strength, basically, is what I'm saying there. So the next point after that I would be looking at is these other highs. You know, this is points where people have look to sell, so that could be some resistance. So we see 12,000, and that is also an area, another fib that I was using. So this is the bear market fib. Started at the high there at 19,900. Bring it down to the low, boom, 13,000. You can see these lows here. We're trying to support it at 13, and it fell. Look at this. It tried to hit 13 at these bottoms, and it fell away from that. And all these numbers they're just in the market. It's nature. It's mathematics. We will see something happen around these 50% levels, whether it blows through or it has some resistance. They're the points I'm looking at. First up, 10,000. Then there was another point in here with some resistance at around 12, and then 13. I know you can basically just call any number, but I'm basically rating the strength of the market to figure out what I'm going to do next. It's not necessarily let's find a price and that's it, but I'm rating the strength because I am holding this long term and I'm looking to add to my position. Okay, that has gone on a little bit longer than I thought, so I guess I've got a lot that I like to talk about when it comes to technical analysis. So what I will do is just go into LiteCoin for a little bit more technical, and then I'll leave those other items for a future video. Let's take a look at LiteCoin. This is a chart that I had been watching, and I've got my indicators in there. I like to use a Bollinger Band just as a bit of, it shows me the sign, another sign of strength or weakness. When you see it burst through the Bollinger Band to the high side, you generally see it come back in, retest some, whether it's the moving average level or it just needs some time to slow down. So for me, it basically helps me not buy on the pumps. Look at this, high volume, big range bar. If you bought here, you would have been better off waiting and just giving it another day or two to pick up another position just a little bit further down the track. All right, LiteCoin, as we can see, you may have already been hearing from people on YouTube, Twitter, all the rest of it. I put out a video the other day, maybe 3-4 days ago, on my Instagram. My Instagram is Hello Crypto, so yeah, I also do have another crypto channel, but yeah, in the Instagram, I've got short videos. I'm talking about, we can see some accumulation happening on the Bitcoin chart of LiteCoin. So the LiteCoin versus Bitcoin chart here, and yeah, we basically got like a pennant flag after it had a huge run up from those lows back in early December. That's where we thought LiteCoin was just going to nothing. Surprised us, shot straight up. Been adding to the position here, well, I have through this point here, probably around the, is it 1.5 million Satoshis. And that little drop there would have been nice to add a little bit more. We burst through the bottom, so I see that as a false break. It's testing these lows, picking up any of the orders that people had here as stops. Burst through the high, got a little bit more accumulation happening, and then it just took off through these highs. And that was the 4th time through that I had been looking for. 1 time, double top there, so it's 2 times. 3 times here, potentially, and then it's taken a step back, didn't retrace as far as these levels, and I see that as a very strong sign of support for the Litecoin market. 50% retracement, nearly there, taken off the other direction. I see this as a very good market going forward in 2018. I'm not going to put any price predictions on it, but what I do is look at market caps, and this was sitting at around 6 or 8 billion just a few days ago, maybe a week or so ago, and we're sitting at around 12 billion now. So we've almost doubled from that point there, that absolute low. I think we have doubled from the absolute low. So I could see this going a good 40 or 50x from a 6 billion. If I'm looking at that, that's what's that rough number? It's 300, 400 billion. May seem very crazy at this point, but look at where it's come from just a year ago. You know, it's sitting in the millions, now it's in the billions. That's crazy. It's a currency, it's the Bitcoin Lite, it's the silver of Bitcoin, as Charlie Lee likes to point out. We've got Charlie Lee around, just so many good fundamentals. Check that out. I'm waiting for this to pull back again. I see that just having screamed through all of those resistance points, and I think it's going to need a little bit of time just to cool down, and I will add to my position again. Another quick little note, these things burst through, they like to come back and form a support level over previous resistance. So that's, if you're into swing trading, there's your first higher swing, well, it may make a first higher swing bottom above the previous tops, and that's where I'll be looking to re-enter. If it happens to break through again, you could have your stops placed just to hold up and you know, maybe re-enter a little bit lower. I'm not going to do that. I like the strength of all of these points, and I'll just add to my position if it continues to drop lower. But at this point, looking quite strong. All right, that is my wrap up of Litecoin and Bitcoin for today on CryptoByte. If you like that, remember to hit subscribe down below, hit the little notification bell so that you can get updates on that. And if you do like the technical analysis, let me know down below in the comments. And that's it for this time, guys. Thanks again for joining. I'll see you at the next video. You are on CryptoByte. Stay tuned for new videos coming up very soon. It's Jason Pizzino signing out for CryptoByte.